Hello, I'm Austin Ramos, and this is my first video. I would like to go by the name by Austin Ramos just because I would like to associate myself with being a journalist first. I've been covering the Dolphins freelancing for the past year and a half. I'll put the links to my articles in the description. And before I go into talking about Dolphins, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself. I'm from Miami, Miami native, and I'm currently in college. I'm doing majoring in mass communications and journalism, and yeah, let's get started into talking about the Miami Dolphins.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
So currently this is after week 6, and the Dolphins are sitting at 4-2. They're currently 3-0 at home and 1-2 on the road. There's 2 losses coming from the Bengals and the New England Patriots. Those are really tough losses. Luckily, Miami bounced back from those 2 losses and beat the Bears in a crazy game. They're absolutely wild. The AFC East is looking not so good, but at the same time not so bad. Patriots have the same record as us, 4-2, but they lead because they beat us when we played them in Foxborough. And then follows them is us, Miami Dolphins, at 4-2 as well. Then the Jets at 3-3, and then the Bills at 2-4. And then when it comes to AFC standings, this is how it goes. It's gonna be Kansas City, the divisional leaders from the West, at 5-1. Then we have New England at 4-2 from the East. Then the Bengals at 4-2 from the North, and the Titans 3-3 from the South. But technically above them is LA, the Los Angeles Chargers at 4-2 as well, and the Ravens 4-2, and then Miami 4-2. And under Miami would be the Titans. But realistically, if the season ended today, playoffs started right now, the Titans will be in, and it will be hard to determine who's going to go in between LA, the Ravens, and Miami. So let me explain to you about what my knowledge is of Adam Gase. So Adam Gase has been in the league for a while. He's been an offensive guy since he's come into the league, and he's had a couple of coaching jobs as a wide receivers coach, quarterback coach, but then he stepped it up when he went to Denver in 2013, and he became an offensive coordinator. And he was in there for the 2013 season and the 2014 season. The following season, he went to Chicago in 2015, and that's when Jay Cutler, the guy who played a quarterback for the Dolphins last season, he had one of his best seasons ever under Adam Gase as his offensive coordinator. And then after that season, Miami hired him as a head coach. And first year went to the playoffs. Second, we were 10-6. Following season, we went 6-10. And currently, right now, is his 3rd season, and we're at 4-2. So there's a lot of good to look at for the Dolphins, but we need to know. There needs to be a little bit more certainty with this team, because a lot of times we will have a lead and we might blow it somehow. And for a lot of fans, it's very tough for them to swallow those pills, especially when we haven't had a very good team in a long time. So let's see what else. And to follow that up, I'm going to start talking about Dolphins draft class. So first round, we took Minkah Fitzpatrick out of Alabama. He's a safety, and so far this season he's done pretty well, and he's gotten a lot on his plate. He's not on the field as much, but when he's on there, you can tell he's on there and he's contributing very well. To follow that up, the second round we got Mike Gesicki, a tight end out of Penn State, and this guy is a freakish athlete. If he can just perfect his run blocking, this guy would be one of the best tight ends in the NFL, and hopefully that could in the future that could be something that happens. That would be great. To follow that, we got a good linebacker from Ohio State University, Jerome Baker. His old college teammate Raekwon McMillan is on the team as well, and they were together in college. We picked up Raekwon last year in last draft, but he got hurt the first play ever as his first play as a pro, so that's crazy. To follow that, we drafted Durham Smythe, tight end out of Notre Dame, and I don't know too much about Smythe, to be honest with you, but I know he's better at blocking than Gesicki is, so when he's in, it's a little more obvious, so it's running down, so we gotta see about that. Kalen Ballage was our next pick. He's a running back out of Arizona State, and he's a really fast back. Miami hasn't really utilized him yet. I've only really seen him on the field for when we're on offense. I've only seen him on the field like about 2 or 3 times, to say the most. So I would like to see more production out of him, or just more of him just getting on the field, getting some play time. Then to follow that, we have Cornell Armstrong, a cornerback, Quinton Poling, and he's a linebacker, and Jason Sanders, a kicker. Cornell is really he's just been on the special teams lately, and Quinton Poling, he's been on the practice squad. And then Jason Sanders was the one who sealed the deal for us on Sunday, and he made the game-winning field goal in overtime. Whole stadium went crazy when that happened. To follow up the rookies, I'm going to talk about the offseason additions to the team. We had Akeem Spence, a defensive tackle coming from Detroit Lions, and then Frank Gore, University of Miami legend, and then right now he's 4th all-time on rushing yards, so really good to have him on our team. He's been producing better than Kenyon Drake, and it's nothing towards Kenyon Drake. It's just Frank is being a lot more smarter with the ball and finding where to run, and a lot of fans are not accepting that, and they're not understanding, because we traded away Jay Ajayi, made Kenyon Drake our lead back, and then now he's taking this, what people think is him taking a step back, but really they're splitting the time as a starter, and Gase is just gonna give it to whoever performs the best, and lately Frank has been performing the best, and they're just gonna go with it. And if Drake steps up, then he's gonna probably get the ball more, so it goes either way. Next was Robert Quinn from the Los Angeles Rams. He's a defensive end, and he's been putting a lot of pressure on quarterbacks, and he's been one of the best additions to the team. One of the best additions to the team, at least one of the best additions to the defense. He's been huge for us. Next is Danny Amendola. A lot of Miami Dolphins fans already know him because he used to play on the Patriots, and this season so far he's been taking huge hits after he catches the ball, and he's gotten up like it's nothing and continue to play the game, and that's what we need on the team. Now one of the best additions so far is a wide receiver, Albert Wilson. Man, he is fast. And if you miss a tackle on him, he will burn you for that. And he's done that against Oakland, and he's done that against the Jets, and he's done that against Chicago, and that has proven to be the difference. And he's the second most in the league with yards after the catch, and he's number 1 for wide receivers with yard after the catch. Now these 2 additions I have here, they're out for the season, unfortunately, and that is Daniel Kilgore, the center we got from San Francisco, and Josh Sidden, the left guard. And man, when those 2 guys were in the line, it was great, and the Dolphins performed very well, running the ball, passing the ball. Unfortunately, those 2 guys are out, but the team had a very well performance against the Bears and their nice defensive front, so there's a lot going up for them. Also, these are in-season additions. We have Jonathan Woodard. He's a defensive end, and Travis Swanson. He was added very early into the season. He's a center. And then one of my favorite acquisitions is Nick O'Leary. He's from FSU, and he was cut by the Bills. He's he blocked very well against the Bears. He got the first touchdown for the Dolphins that game, and I don't know what the Bills did, why they cut him, because he's playing phenomenal right now, and I love that. Now we're gonna go over to what I think developments, which is like who's developed from last season to this season very well and progressed into that. My number one guy is Kiko Alonso. He is free as he could be, and he is going all over the field. It feels like every play he's in on a tackle, or he's just always around the ball. Man, that guy, very well. He is almost leading the league in tackles. He's one tackle behind the leading tackler, and I'm pretty sure throughout the season it's going to be like a neck-and-neck race. Arizona has two of the leading tacklers within the top 5, but I feel like it's just because their defense isn't doing well, and they're just letting people just do whatever on them, and they have to get the tackles to stop them. So that's one of the things. But the defense as a whole has been performing amazing. We lead the league in interceptions right now at 11, and a lot of people are not talking about our pass rush just because they're not getting sacks, or they're not getting the ball off of the running backs or the quarterbacks. But I think to go opposite of that, they're getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback to make him throw into tight windows, because the interception that Xavier Howard had against the Raiders, it was an amazing pass rush that made Derek Carr just throw up the ball because he knew he was going to get hit if he didn't. And he way overshot Amari Cooper, and X intercepted and took it back for a good amount of yards. Jakeem Grant, he has developed very well. When he was first drafted, no one really thought of him as making it past the first couple games of his first year, and he's proved everyone wrong. First he was dropping punts, and he's gotten better at that. He's been catching more punts, and he took one back to the house against Cincinnati. That put us on top, put us on a 14-0 lead before halftime. And then he's catching balls. I feel like that catch he made against New England last season on that Monday night game really got to him, and he wanted to work better. And a lot of the cornerbacks are playing him really back, because they know if they let him get a couple more steps behind him, he's gone, and they're not gonna let that happen. So he will take the under passes all day. Also, Frank Gore already touched on him a little bit, but he still has some gas in the tank, and I wouldn't be surprised if after a season he may come back to the Dolphins, possibly for one more year. I don't know about 2. We just gotta play it how it is and see how it's going. But I really like the system we're doing with Frank Gore and Kenyon Drake. I feel like that could be really deadly to any other defenses playing us, especially if we get Josh Sitton back next season. That would be great. That would be huge, and that will just make our running game a lot easier. And Xavier Howard, I touched on him a little bit earlier, but he has been riding away from starting at the end of last season, when he started to really blossom, and he showed it very early on in the season. And now a lot of the other teams are catching on to him, and they're scared to throw his ball his way. They moved AJ Green to the slot to get away from Xavier Howard, and Andy Dalton is referred to as one of the best wide receivers in the game. So that tells you a lot, that they're scared of him being just manned up on Xavier Howard, or just being on the side that Xavier Howard is. So that's very good. The stats might not show it as much just because he's not getting targeted as much. And that's about it. Also, thank you for watching my first episode, and you could like, comment, subscribe, and also you could follow me on my social media networks. I'll put them either on the video up here, or I'll put them on the description down below. But they're by Austin Ramos for both Instagram and Twitter. So interact with me, it's fine. Any questions about the Dolphins, I'll answer back to you. I'll give you guys my opinion and all that. Thank you once again for watching.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.